The first part of my story about Chicago ended up by walking along Magnificent Mile. In the evening, I went to Michigan Bridge. The first colonists had once founded Fort Dearborn, burned down by ungrateful Indians. And in order not to fall into the hands of the insidious Redskins, I postponed the crossing to the south bank of the Chicago River for the morning. Having spent a restless night in the suspiciously hospitable and tidy Best Western Hotel on Ohio Street, there I barricaded myself in the room to avoid provocations, and decided not to touch breakfast, which I wouldn't have anyway. At dawn I left the hotel and headed to the Chicago River. Coming to that, I heard familiar sounds. Our people, I sighed with relief and moved to the south bank of the river.
Настоящему индейцу надо только одного, да и этого немного, да почти что ничего. Если ты чувак индеец, ты найдешь себе оттяг. Настоящему индейцу завсегда везде ништяк. Эх, трава, травушка, травушка, муравушка, эх, грибочки, ягодки, да цветочки, лютики, эх, березки, елочки, шишечки, иголочки, эх, да птички, уточки, прибаутки, шуточки.
We will never believe that there is a closed dome of the sky above us, and a deity lives in every tree and stream. But this alien being polished to a mirror shine lies on the square as a promise of a miracle, like the mining of skyscrapers, which pierce the sky with their spires and stole its particle. And it attracts people in whose souls the desire and expectation of a miracle lives, and reflects the skyscrapers, which otherwise would never see themselves. Chicago's downtown surprises at every turn, especially when you get to it through Cloud Gate in Millennium Park. 15-meter lead towers of Crown Fountain, located on a black granite pool, project images of city residents. Although in some countries the images of politicians would be the best for this. J. Pritzker Pavilion is an open concert venue with a capacity of 11,000 spectators and is distinguished by unique acoustics not inferior to the acoustics of the best concert halls. And in a city like Chicago, where they know a lot about good music, it means a lot. Another original composition of Frank Gehry is designed so that the sounds of music don't interfere with the residents of neighboring houses, and at the same time the noise of the highways doesn't penetrate the concert venue. Interestingly, the builders of the pavilion bypassed the 18 34 ban on the construction of structures in the park, calling the pavilion not a building but a work of art. I think they had that right. Together with the pavilion, Frank Gehry designed the original Serpentine Bridge, sparkling like scales with stainless steel plates. The pavement is made from Brazilian hardwood. When working on the bridge, the authors solved many problems. It was supposed to be of a certain height, low weight, with a smooth slope, making it accessible to people with disabilities. In addition, it had to work as a berm, blocking noise from Columbus Drive. And one more thing. The park is located on the site of the former depot of the railway station and its parking lot. You ask, where is it all now? Below, under the ground, under the park. So, back to the music. In this building next to the Millennium Park is the hall of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. For people who love classical music, that says it all. And I advise everyone else to listen to the recordings of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra with great Jascha Heifetz, and you'll understand why I came here. The Chicago Cultural Center is located in the building of the former public library. The main staircase in it was decorated by Tiffany, claimed that after the wall mosaics of the Cathedral of Monreale in Sicily of the 13th century, this is the largest mosaics in the world. For its creation was used a combination of mother of pearl, semi-precious stones and glass of different colors, giving an unusual glow. The glass dome with the largest stained glass window ever manufactured by Tiffany consists of 30,000 fragments. In its center are 12 signs of the zodiac. The Gallery of Modern Art is now in this imitation of the hall of the Doge's Palace in Venice. The library was built on the land donated to the city by a veteran organization of the Federal Army. The hall with another stained glass dome which bears the name of the Hall of the Great Republican Army used to be the reception place of government organization and royals who came to Chicago. The monumental building with Corinthian columns is nothing less than Macy's department store. One of the largest in the world, it acquired its present appearance in 1914 after numerous extensions. Two 7-ton bronze clocks were installed at two corners of the building in 1897. World's first escalators were installed at Macy's. Here, for the first time, they began to refund the full price for the returned goods and to post price tags on goods instead of the usual practice at the time to bargain. But the most interesting thing here is the so-called Great Hall. The 5-story atrium with balconies, a vaulted mosaic ceiling and chandeliers was decorated by Tiffany in 1907. Just for the sake of this, you should come here, and you can shoot a video here without any restriction. And although the capital city of Illinois is not Chicago, but the city of Springfield, the Thompson Center building is called the second capital of the state. And its 17 floors deployed to the visitors symbolize the openness of the government and the Court of Appeal, whose offices are located here. In general, this building is a modern variation of the traditional Capitol Rotunda. The food court with a mosaic floor is downstairs. The steel structures of the center are hardly distinguishable from its abstract sculptures. The building that looks like a spacecraft capsule from the outside and like a launch site of the Space Center from the inside conveys a feeling of lightness and flight, and its rarefied atmosphere attracts many tourists. The Chicago Board of Trade skyscrapers closes the canyon of the street LaSalle. Its entrance to the lobby is decorated with ears of wheat, since the Chicago Stock Exchange was the world's largest grain market. The skyscrapers with a three-story lobby of black and white marble was built in the 30s, in the Art Deco style, and remained the tallest building in the city until 1965. Near the entrance are sculptures, industry and agriculture, which were located on the old building of the exchange, demolished in 1929 due to problems with the foundation. On the right behind Bank of America, there is a brick building of terracotta color. This is the oldest skyscraper in Chicago, Rookery. It is 55 meters high. Built in 1888 using a steel frame inserted into brickwork at the level of the two lower floors, it was a step forward in the construction of skyscrapers. There are several versions of its strange name. Perhaps it comes from a dilapidated house, which had previously stood on this site and served as the mayor's office for some time, or from flocks of ravens and pigeons that flew here, or from shrill and corrupt city officials swirling around the building. Anyway, this name has been preserved until now. In 1905, Frank Wright changed the appearance of the lobby, closing the walls and columns with white Carrara marble with golden Persian patterns. Inside there is the two-story courtyard, resembling either a greenhouse or a crystal palace. The straight and semicircular steel stairs lead to the second floor to the office premises. On the way to the next attraction, I suggest to take a look at Grant Park, with the famous Buckingham Fountain, opened in 1927, which largely repeats the fountain in Versailles. It symbolizes Lake Michigan, and 4 pairs of seahorses symbolize 4 states around the lake. The Grant Park is also called the Gate of Chicago. This reddish terracotta building is named after Jacques Marquette, a French Jesuit founded the mission, 150 years later becoming the city of Chicago. There are 4 bronze bas-reliefs at the entrance, telling about the expedition of Marquette across the Great Lakes, during which he contracted dysentery and died at the age of 38. The 2-story hexagonal lobby is decorated with mosaic friezes. The bronze images of Indians and explorers are above the elevator doors. Mosaics are made, as you can guess, by the same company Tiffany, from mother of pearl, colored glass and semi-precious stones. And if you don't need to go inside the Sullivan Center, you should certainly see its 2 lower floors, the round tower at the corner and the canopy, where Louis Henry Sullivan hid his initials among geometric and floral motifs made of cast iron. This is on our downtown's decoration. The streets of downtown, with the Church of St. Peter and the local synagogue, with the original bronze sculpture Hands of Peace, protecting and blessing passers-by. With the famous Theater Chicago and its legendary sign, which became the emblem of the city. With luxurious skyscrapers, and their not elegant backyards. With subway lines, many stations of which, probably due to lack of imagination, are named the same. So, for example, there are 5 Western Station, 4 Pulaski, and 2 Harlem. This is very inconvenient and leads to confusion. But it isn't very different from the metro of our cities in America, especially underground station. While in the Soviet Union palaces were built underground, in America they were built on the surface. This is the new city library named after Harold Washington, the mayor of Chicago. The facade is decorated with images of seed, a symbol of the natural wealth of Illinois, and the owl, a symbol of wisdom made of aluminum. At the corners of the building are owls sitting in the foliage. The 17-story skyscraper of the former Santa Fe Railway Exchange, with a white terracotta entrance and the Allegory of Progress, was built in 1904. Probably Rookery skyscraper didn't give rest to the creator of this building, with whom they decided to compete, having built the same 2-story lobby, which was closed by a glass roof only in 1980. And although the copy is always worse than the original, here you can see the stylish from outside and inside elevator. In my opinion, transparent bluish tiles, similar in color to the roof, only reinforce the similarity of the lobby, with either a swimming pool or a bathroom. The sculpture of Pablo Picasso in Daly Square leads to more daring and diverse association. The first abstract composition in the city. There previously only monuments were erected to historical characters. It looks like an Afghan hound and a baboon, and in profile it looks like a human head. Behind the construction, which is also used as a jungle gym, you can see the city hall of light gray marble. There is the municipality of Chicago and Cook County, high reliefs with the emblem of which are located at the entrance. The corridor with a vaulted ceiling and beautiful elevators passes through the building. In one block with the former jewelry store of Charles Peacock, with revolving bronze doors and a peacock clock, the Palmer House Hotel is located. There you can feel the luxury and glamour of the 20th of the last century. The ceiling of the lobby is painted with frescoes on the themes of Greek mythology, and the marble staircase leads to the Empire Room. There many world and American pop stars performed. In 2005, Palmer House was bought by a network of Hilton hotels, which conducted an expensive restoration here. And Suluk, located at an altitude of 412 meters, the famous glass balconies of the highest skyscraper in Chicago, Willis. It was built by architect Fazlur Rahman, who developed the technology for building not only rectangular towers, but also of any complex shapes. 1.5 million tourists visit the observation desk of the tower every year, and to get to the ledge you need to stand in line for half an hour. Perhaps that is why this show wasn't very impressive. From Willis Tower, which remained the tallest building in the world for 25 years, you can see a lot of what I showed in this video in a new way. And we must pay tribute to the Americans, who invented not only skyscrapers, but also a way to make good money on them. Although in order to earn money, you must first learn to build such skyscrapers. So, entering the downtown through Cloud Gate and climbing half a kilometer into the sky, we leave the center of Chicago to continue exploring the city in the next video.